Hello there, fellow worker bees. Let's talk about the 9-to-5 workday, that glorious invention that makes us feel like our lives are passing by in a haze of spreadsheets and pointless meetings. You know the feeling, right? Mondays hit you harder than a double espresso, and Fridays feel like winning the lottery, even though you know you'll be back to the grind soon enough. But hey, at least we're not living in the Middle Ages, right? Back then, they worked from sunrise to sunset. So, thank goodness for small favors. Of course, back then they didn't have to worry about emails, conference calls, or the soul-crushing monotony of fluorescent lighting. So maybe our medieval ancestors had it figured out after all. Just something to ponder while you're pretending to work and browsing Reddit on your phone. Don't worry, this isn't going to be a history lesson. It's more like a roast of the 9-to-5 workday, with a few historical anecdotes thrown in for good measure. Because let's be honest, the 9-to-5 deserves a good roasting. The Industrial Revolution, that magical time when factories sprouted up like mushrooms after the rain, and we all traded our farm tools for time cards. It was a time of great progress, for factory owners that is. For the rest of us it meant long hours, dangerous conditions, and the soul-crushing realization that we were now cogs in a giant capitalist machine. Before the Industrial Revolution, people worked in spurts, taking breaks when they needed them and enjoying a more flexible schedule. But then factories came along and suddenly everyone needed to be in the same place at the same time, working like clockwork. Thus, the 9-to-5 workday was born, like a beautiful, terrible butterfly emerging from the cocoon of progress. It was a system designed for efficiency, productivity, and of course, maximizing profits for the people at the top. And hey, who cares about the little guy, right? Fast forward a few decades and the factories emptied out as people flocked to air-conditioned offices, eager to trade their blue collars for white ones. But did things really change that much? Instead of operating machinery, we're now glued to computers. Instead of factory floors, we have cubicles, those fabric-covered cages designed to give the illusion of privacy, while simultaneously reminding you that you're trapped. The 9-to-5 workday, once the domain of factory workers, had become the norm for everyone, from CEOs to interns. We're all part of the same glorious rat race now, baby. Now, let's talk about the real reason we're all here. The negative impacts of the 9-to-5 workday on our mental and physical well-being. Because let's be honest, spending 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, staring at a screen, attending pointless meetings, and pretending to be productive is enough to make anyone want to fake their own death and move to a remote island. Studies have shown that the 9-to-5 grind can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, insomnia, heart disease, obesity, and a whole host of other health problems. It's like a buffet of misery, and we're all invited. And don't even get me started on the lack of sleep. Remember those carefree days when you could sleep in on the weekends? Those days are long gone, my friend. Now you're lucky if you can drag yourself out of bed on Saturday morning without wanting to crawl back under the covers and hide from the world. But hey, at least we have weekends, right? 2 whole days to cram in all the things we wish we could be doing during the week. Let's not forget who benefits most from this whole 9-to-5 charade: corporations. They love it. It's like a dream come true for them. They get to squeeze every last drop of productivity out of their employees, all while maintaining the illusion that they care about work-life balance. Think about it, they get 8 hours of your day, 5 days a week. That's 40 hours of your life that you're essentially renting out to them in exchange for a paycheck. And what do they give you in return? Health insurance, a 401k, and the privilege of attending team-building exercises that would make a mime want to claw their own face off. But wait, there's more. Not only do corporations benefit from the 9-to-5 workday, but so do governments. Think about it. A workforce that's consistently employed means more tax revenue for them. It's a beautiful cycle of productivity and taxation. And we, my friends, are the hamsters that keep the wheel turning. They've built the entire system around it, from public transportation schedules to school hours. It's like we're all trapped in a giant bureaucratic machine, and the only way out is to win the lottery or become independently wealthy. So here we are, stuck in the hamster wheel of productivity, dreaming of a life where we're not constantly tethered to our desks. We spend the best hours of our day working, only to come home exhausted, with barely enough energy to microwave a frozen dinner and collapse on the couch. We're overworked, underpaid, and overcaffeinated, and we're starting to realize that maybe, just maybe, there's more to life than spreadsheets and conference calls. But what's the alternative? Quit our jobs and live in a van down by the river? As tempting as that sounds, most of us have bills to pay and responsibilities that prevent us from embracing our inner nomad. So, what's the solution? How do we break free from the shackles of the 9-to-5 workday without resorting to a life of crime or becoming independently wealthy through a series of increasingly improbable events? Well, some companies are starting to experiment with flexible work arrangements, remote work options, and even 4-day work weeks. And you know what? It's about damn time. Maybe, just maybe, we're on the cusp of a new era. One where work-life balance isn't just a pipe dream but a reality. But until that glorious day arrives, we're stuck with the 9-to-5. So, my fellow worker bees, let's make the best of it. Take those vacation days, even if it's just to stay home and watch Netflix in your pajamas. Use your lunch break to escape the office and get some fresh air, and most importantly, remember that you're not alone. We're all in this together, united in our shared experience of the daily grind. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a spreadsheet to update, or maybe I'll just browse Reddit for a while. After all, it's not like I have a choice, right?